And good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Interesting news this morning on what is about to happen today. Mia and I are leaving to go visit the University of Kansas, or do you call it Kansas University?
University of Kansas, KU. They say KU. It's like DU and University of Denver. It's weird.
And same thing with Colorado.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so we scheduled a campus tour. This is where she wants to go. This was really a safety school for her as much as anything else. But we are scheduled for a tour tomorrow. We're leaving today. And at midnight last night, she got her letter of acceptance.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
If you believe in fate, knowing we're leaving today and she got the acceptance notification today, that's pretty stinking cool.
It is really cool. I'm so excited. Now all I hope is that the federal government doesn't screw it up and end up canceling your flight.
You know what? I didn't think about that.
I hear you
already.
Trust me.
It's only an 8-hour plus drive through wheat fields. That shouldn't be a boring trip.
It's not the greatest trip, but I've done it. So,
As have I. With that, I want to tell you about Roller Auction, the leader in Colorado auctions for over 45 years today. Planet Open Box having an auction for holiday decorations, trees, lights, ornaments, and more. Online bidding is started at rollerauction.com. And don't forget to go to rollerauction.com to learn about upcoming auctions. There are a lot of great ones coming up. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
Okay, it's the Broncos against the Raiders tonight, and the Vegas team, their offense, worst offense, the Broncos defense will face all season. Yet the Raiders are considerably worse than the Jets and the Texans, which is hard to believe because those two offenses are shite. Raiders 30th in the league, 283 total yards per game, 29th in the league with 17 points per game. Bruce, is this one of those games just pretty much do your job on defense, don't commit dumb penalties and things like that, and the Raiders are going to have a tough time scoring points?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, that's what the metrics certainly look like. Now they get Brock Bowers back.
Yeah.
And so those figures are a little skewed by the fact that arguably the best tight end in football, is back in the lineup, and he obviously was huge last week with 3 touchdowns. So, and you don't put anything in the bank in this league. We all know that, and you can't do it with this football team. I mean, until there's more consistency with the offense, and you know what you can count on, there's going to be just a little bit of anxiety every single week. So, but they've handled it well to this point. They should win this football game at home against a team that, frankly, they're better than. But, you got to play the 60 minutes and see where you are at the end of it.
Well, the Broncos did a great job against Jake Ferguson. And let's give Alex Singleton some credit for that, although it was a team effort shutting him down. Bowers is a concern. Jacoby Myers, he was just traded, right?
Right.
Okay. And then you have Ashton Jeanty, who has the potential to be terrific, but he's not terrific yet.
No, he hadn't done much at all, frankly. I think he's rushed for like 58 yards in the last 2 games. But that's not to say that he's not a tremendous talent.
Yeah.
Their issue right now is with their offensive line. It's probably not with Ashton Jeanty.
Let's get into the phrase that we've used more than a few times over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Get right game. I don't mean for the entire team. I'm talking about for the offense. They had a get right game against the Bengals. The Broncos offense did. Same thing with the Cowboys. We saw what happened in the last game where they needed to win in the 4th quarter again. Would you put this under the category of let's try and get this damn thing right?
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I would probably put it in those terms too. Just something that looks a little more like consistency. That's all. They don't have to be, a shining star, coming out and score in 6 of 8 possessions, but you just would like to see some consistency, and you would like to see it, spread a little bit more evenly out through the game. I'm not one of these that, you absolutely have to start like a streak every single game. I just want to see a little more consistency. If they can get to that point, this is going to be a really difficult football team to deal with.
Short week affect either team more than the other, you think?
I think it does when you're traveling.
Yeah.
I mean, the Raiders are traveling. It's not that far, but you still got to go through the whole process of, security and all of the crap, even though they do it right there in the, they don't do it like we do at the airport.
Right.
But you still got to get on a plane. You still got to go get into a hotel, all of that stuff. So it's worse when you're traveling.
Taking the Broncos and laying the 8.5 points. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
They're 8.5 points better.
Yeah.
Is the best way to put it. They should win by double digits in this game, but it's a big number on a short week.
You are absolutely right, and that's why I hesitated. So, and games in this league generally tend to be closer than they are. But if it's going to happen tonight, is a good night for it to happen. Playing at home, you've got great momentum. There's a lot of things that you should feel good about the Broncos. Not to mention, if you can get past this game, Eric, they play one game in the next 23 days. I mean, they will have a lot of time off. If they can win this game tonight,
8-2.
Right.
Still on top of the division.
And all of a sudden hey, we don't need to worry about the bye after London. We'll go ahead and suck it up and play through it. All of a sudden, that looks pretty good because in the month of November, you're getting basically 22 days where you're not playing a football game. And the one game that you have is Kansas City. But, they can physically get right during that stretch. Can't hear you.
Sorry about that. 3 on mute. With that, let me try that again.
Yeah.
So the Broncos, after this game, have roughly 10 days before their game against the Chiefs. And then you mentioned the bye after that.
Right.
If they beat the Chiefs and are sitting at 9-2 heading into the bye week, I don't think any reasonable person, I don't think any die-hard Broncos fan, the Homer, the president of the Broncos Homer Club could have scripted a better start through 11 games. If they win tonight, beat the Chiefs, they have that advantage of that extra time off to prepare, and then they go into a bye week. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, it sets up tremendously for the Broncos right now. And it is, I mean, you've got 6 games left after that point. And just because we can do this, they'll be favored against the Chiefs. Unless something really weird happens tonight, they will be a slight favorite at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's just say they get to 9-2.
Yeah.
And then you've got the bye to get healthy, really healthy.
Yeah.
And you've got 6 games left. You've got you're playing well at home. You're going to you're bringing 12 or 13 wins very strongly into the equation. Washington all of a sudden doesn't look like the Washington we thought it would be going on the road.
Daniels is out.
Right.
He's done.
You got,
and their defense is terrible.
Right.
But then again, we've said that about the Bengals. We said that about the Cowboys. So far, so good.
Yeah.
About to see what happens tonight.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Now you've got the Chargers at home, and the Chargers have been a bugaboo.
Their starting 2 tackles are out for the season. Who's their running back?
Exactly.
For a team that loves to run the ball, who's their running back?
And the great thing is that it's not just the AFC West, it's the rest of the AFC.
Right.
The AFC isn't chasing a team. They're looking for a team to chase. The AFC doesn't have a clear-cut, ass-kicking team that you've got to beat. Can Buffalo be that team? Maybe they can be. They're a tick or two off where they were a year ago. Maybe the Chiefs can rebound, and maybe it even starts in Denver. I mean, who knows? I mean,
Lamar Jackson is back, but
right?
I want to pull the reins on you a little bit.
Okay.
Because how you are describing the Patriots and the Colts, the Colts and Patriots, they're describing the Broncos in the same way.
Yeah.
Because there is no proven consistency with any three of these franchises that they can do what Buffalo, Baltimore, and Kansas City have consistently done over the past 5+ years.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. And therein lies my contention that the AFC is looking for that team. I mean, I just don't think that we've identified it yet. And that's not taking anything away from Indianapolis or New England. Hey, let's not forget, the season started with the Raiders beating New England and doing it on the road, I believe. But now here they are.
Look at the top teams currently in the AFC on top of their division. It is literally back to the future.
It is
literally back to the future from, I don't know, 2003, 2002 for the next decade plus. Who was on top of those divisions? The Colts with Manning, the Patriots with Brady, and the Broncos with Shanahan and Plummer. Even though they kept getting dusted in the opening round of the playoffs, they were still a 10+ win team for the most part during Plummer's stretch as the quarterback.
Yeah, well, it goes to show you that good franchises figure out ways to get good again, even though the Broncos have been absent from that stage for a while. They do have the history of being a really strong franchise. The Patriots' legacy speaks for itself. And the Colts have always been contending, not contending, but they've always been a good franchise. Good franchises, ones that are well run, ones that have had success, generally find their way back to the surface. And that's where we are right now. And any one of those three teams could fill the void. I'm not ready to close the book on the Chiefs. I think the Chargers are still there. And you bring up Lamar with Baltimore, which could be very interesting. Defensively, they're not very good. But you know what? They've got a multiple MVP, and you don't close the door on them.
I mean, speaking of back to the future, and we will get into the NFL Hall of Fame and the head coaches who are up to actually get into the Hall of Fame finally. But I want to take a quick step back. What kind of message is it going to send the AFC if the top three seeds are not led by Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Burrow, instead Nix, May, and Daniel Jones?
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that people are still taking a wait and see attitude about Drake May. I'm there. I think Drake May is totally legit.
And
totally
by the way, let's give, even though the guys, I can think of a lot of words to use on a podcast, and I pretty much can use any word I want to on a podcast.
And have.
That's right. So you got to give a lot of credit to Josh McDaniels on how he has mentored Drake May.
No question about it, right? I mean, and we've seen this story before with Josh McDaniels, right? in New England. It works in New England for whatever reason. Doesn't seem to work anywhere else. Maybe it's something about the zip code or the area code.
No, that's not true, because there's a difference. Josh McDaniels only works in New England because he's never the head coach. Wherever else he goes, he is the head coach.
Right. But my point is that whatever he does there with quarterbacks and offenses, it works well there. It doesn't tend to work well anywhere else.
Well, it would work well everywhere else as long as he wasn't the head coach. He's that good of an offensive mind.
Right.
Now, let's talk about head coaches. And we went back to the future with the 2000s, where you had the Colts, the Broncos, and the Patriots. And now, once again, you have Bill Belichick and Mike Shanahan going head-to-head. I will note that Mike Shanahan was better against Bill Belichick and the Patriots than Belichick was against the Broncos. That was the one coach that, talking about Shanahan, that Belichick had a difficult time beating. But with that, Shanahan, I think, is going to have to wait another year, because Belichick's a slam dunk.
Not without any question. It's not even worth the discussion.
Right.
Bill Belichick goes into the Hall of Fame, and correctly so.
Well, here is the discussion then. Let's look at the other guys, not this upcoming year for the Hall of Fame, next year. What makes you think that Mike Shanahan is next in line when Mike Holmgren has been a finalist twice and hasn't gotten in?
Right.
I mean, does Shanahan jump the line? And oh, by the way, either you are an ultimate homer, which is okay, because I understand why everybody wants Mike Shanahan in, and he should be next, or you truly do not understand Tom Coughlin's career.
Right. No, I mean, you're absolutely
right. Tom Coughlin absolutely has the same chops, if not as good, if not better, than Mike Shanahan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And oh, by the way, just for fun, because I see this all the time, well, when they went head-to-head in big games, who won the game? Well, my answer to that is simple. Go back to 1996. Who was the head coach of the Jaguars when the Broncos got upset at home and probably should have won the Super Bowl that year? Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, he built and people kind of forget that chapter of his life. I mean, he did the stuff with the Giants, then he went and did the stuff with the Jaguars. So, I mean,
an expansion franchise.
Right. Yeah. And made them, a championship quality franchise. I think that Shanahan, Mike will get in, and I am confident in saying that. I think that he will be a Hall of Famer. It's right now, it's the pecking order and how you go in. So if that's important, then he's going to have to probably be patient because he's not going in this year. I mean, there's no way that it's just not going to happen. And he may not go in next year.
Right. And by the way, Dan Reeves has a strong argument too.
Sure he does.
He took two different teams to a Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
Never won one,
right?
But he went to 4, right? Went to 4 Super Bowls, 3 with the Broncos, all in the same decade. That's sort of similar to Marv Levy, even though it wasn't 4 years in a row, or in Reeves' case, 3 years in a row. But then he, takes Atlanta to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Ironically, against the Broncos, to which that will be the argument. Well, Mike Shanahan beat Dan Reeves in the Super Bowl. So that was a really important game. Shanahan should get the leg up. The argument is the Broncos were better than the Jaguars in 1996, and the Broncos lost at home to Tom Coughlin. Mike Shanahan should go into the Hall of Fame for sure. I just don't see how there's going to be, for 2 coaches can't get in anyway.
No, you can't. It's one at a time. At least in this committee, it's one at a time. And that's the way that he's going to go in. So it's going to have to be in a year where you do not have such distraction as Bill Belichick, who is, as you mentioned, an absolute slam dunk.
So Mike Shanahan was a terrific offensive coordinator, a great offensive mind. The same thing cannot be said for Pat Shurmur, who was demoted. Surprisingly. That's next. Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you got to try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Here's another great promotion from Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk. On December 13th, it's their annual holiday auction for a pair of Super Bowl tickets, tools, jewelry, electronics, toys, and kitchen appliances. Earn auction currency with every locked-up jackpot, players' points, or a daily cash drawing. There's so many ways to earn currency, and the more you play, the more you'll be able to bid and win what you want at their auction. So get up to Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos and start stacking your auction currency today.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. All their locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook, great hangout bar, great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
And welcome back, Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. It is game day, Broncos and Raiders, Thursday night tilt. If you are a big tailgater, are you going to take the entire day off of work to get that tailgate ready? Or you want to make it easy, you want to make it better, and you want to make it less expensive by catering in from Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. They are right down the street off of 36 and Pecos from Empower Field. And what can you do if you have a tailgate? Here's a suggestion for you. They have something called the Big Kahuna Belly Buster. That is a full slab of St. Louis ribs, a whole chicken, half pound of pulled pork, half pound of beef brisket, served with 4 large sides, and the sides are great, whether it's mac and cheese, the collard greens. They have 6 pieces of cornbread that goes with it. Serves 5 to 7 people, and it's under $100. You're not going to get a better deal financially. You're not going to get better food, period, at your own tailgate, because they are the best barbecue spot in town. And when you tailgate, what do you want? Really good barbecue, and they've got it. Go check out Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. They are all over the state, but in the Denver metro, they're off of 36th and Pecos. Time now for What's Trending.
What's trending on Hot Takes with Goodman and Haertl? Brought to you by Mile High Sports.
This is a term that was used many, many years ago about certain people who don't like to tell you anything. He's a secret squirrel. Deion Sanders is a secret squirrel because following the Utah game, he relieved Pat Shurmur of his duties of being the play caller. Okay? Didn't want anybody to know it. And quite frankly, after watching their last game offensively, you can make the case you would have thought it was Pat Shurmur. But it wasn't Pat Shurmur. It was tight end coach Brett Bartolone who was calling plays against Arizona. Bartolone, by the way, was, I believe, the play caller, the offensive coordinator, Jackson State, with Deion Sanders. To me, Bruce, honestly, this situation with Shurmur is almost laughable, considering, generally speaking, he's never been considered a great offensive coordinator, a great play caller. Calling him very good, I think, would be a stretch when you look at the body of this guy's career. We had a front row seat to Pat Shurmur with the Broncos, and I think just about every single person in the media, just about every fan said to Deion, not to his face, but said, Deion, what the fuck are you doing hiring Pat Shurmur to be your offensive coordinator? And now the Buffs have their third play caller in 3 years. Great stability.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that to learn that Pat Shurmur wasn't calling the plays against Arizona because it looked like it. Right? You know, I mean, it was like, oh, wow. So they've got someone else that can make the offense look this bad. They've got quarterback issues, but and maybe
someone else who can make the offense look this bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So, and they do have quarterback issues, and we'll see starting this weekend whether that changes or not. Right. I mean, so come on, Juju, give us some meat on the bone here to take care of ourselves down the stretch. Pat Shurmur to me was a confounding move when Deion made it. It did fit Deion's deal of we need to have NFL experienced people. I mean,
how's Warren Sapp working out? How's Damata Pecco, our friend, working out?
Yeah, I mean, your record. You are what your record says you are, right? So, I mean, I'll just fall back on that. And this is a 3-6 football team. And this is a 3-6 football team that doesn't look close right now. Right. Iowa State notwithstanding, the last 2 weekends, one of them coming off a bye, right? This team has looked absolutely awful, uninspired, unfocused, and borderline incompetent. That is a direct reflection of the coaching that this team is getting. I mean, what else can it be? So
we are 2.5 years into Deion Sanders' tenure. And for all of the great things that he's done, we knew it would eventually come down to wins and losses. But let me give you some other numbers. In 2.5 years, 2 defensive coordinators, essentially 3 offensive coordinators. It's a lot. Now, when I look at the offensive side of the ball, and he has 3 different play callers in 2.5 years, is the problem Sanders on who he chooses?
Yeah. I mean, yes. And by the way, it's interesting that the same issue that I think Colorado is having with their roster, they are having with their coaching staff. Yeah. I mean, they're basically the constant change and the churn of change in that program. The continuity is Deion at this point, and at this point, that's not enough. They're a football team that's really floundering right now, and I'm not saying that they're not working hard trying to fix it. I'm just saying that maybe they don't know how to fix it.
Right. In the meantime, Sanders explained why no Colorado players have been made available since the end of the Arizona blowout loss, meaning available to the media. And I know it's going to sound self-indulgent as I say this because I'm a member of the media. But when Sanders was asked why his players haven't talked, his answer was, I have a fatherly spirit. I'm trying to shield them from certain things that may harm them. Bruce, I'm a cynical guy at times. I'm incredibly sarcastic. Here's my combination of cynicism and sarcasm for you. Should Sanders just recruit players who can't read or don't have the ability to go on social media? They can't read or hear the criticism. What the fuck is he protecting them for? I mean, I'm being serious when I say this. As a head coach, when parents send their kids off to play college football for a college football coach, obviously, you are entrusting your child to that coach to help that child become a man, to learn about accountability, to learn about a bunch of different things. A coach in some ways is a parental figure. A coach in some ways is a teacher. So what is he teaching these kids by shielding them from the media, shielding them from criticism, which is going to happen for the rest of their lives, whether they play football or not? All of us have experienced it. And what are you really teaching those young men by not allowing them to face criticism and be accountable? You're doing just the opposite.
I would agree. Yes, I would agree. It's one thing to have players available when everything's great out there and you're sailing along and you're winning games and everything is beautiful. But it's another thing when you have to face when you have to be accountable to what you're not doing to be successful. You talked about it, in life. It's especially true for an athlete at this level of play. You're playing big time college football. You're going to be held accountable one way or the other. You're going to be held accountable. I think it's my own personal feeling that Deion's doing a disservice to these players. I get the whole fatherly thing. Fine. If that's the tact you want to take, that's fine. But I just don't think that's a good thing. I think you're doing a disservice to these guys who part of the problem is their accountability within the program. Deion has questioned this team a couple of times this season. I'm not the one doing it. We've got some guys that aren't able to, take care of their business. You got reports of guys being late back to the facility during the bye. These are guys, for whatever reason, that are not handling the responsibility of what they need to do, and they need to be held accountable for it. Those are good things. You talk about things that help young people grow up quickly. Start dealing with that kind of stuff. You'll learn about who the tough ones are and who the ones that can't hack it.
Yesterday we spoke briefly about something that the wide receivers coach said back in August. Mm-hmm. We really don't work on blocking. Blocking and tackling are the main fundamentals of football.
Yeah, that's a want-to thing.
And that's what he said. This is a want-to thing. Yeah. Well, here's another thing that's a want-to thing, but it does take technique. I was told by somebody who has spent a lot of time at practice, specifically before the season began, defense barely practices tackling.
Right.
Barely practices it. So the two most important fundamentals, the foundation of football, blocking and tackling, they don't practice. So I would say to Deion Sanders, besides doing really good things for the university and helping bring in money, but your record is what it is right now, and you're shielding your players, treating them like a fatherly player, how about teach them to play some fucking football and teach them to block and tackle? How about that? Isn't that one of the roles of the coach? Blocking and tackling.
Yeah, it's about as basic as it gets. Here's what I would say. Look, if what you're doing is not working in the way that it's not working right now, and it is a large swing and miss over the last couple of weeks, and not all season long, they lost some games early that they were in on that they could have won, and there was a glint of hope that came to fruition against Iowa State, who was going a different direction. And we've seen that now. Iowa State's fallen off the edge of the earth. But you've got to be really honest about what your team doesn't do well.
Right.
Why are we failing? Why are we 3-6? And you and I have said this many, many times. We think Deion is a very smart guy.
He is.
Is he smart enough to recognize the deficiencies and the holes in coaching that are evidenced by this football team week in and week out and do enough to fix it. Now, you might not be able to do it on the run here for the rest of the season, but if you're going to be back for another year, does it change everything that you do in the way that you teach and mentor a football team? My thought would be it needs to be.
Simply put, and this might be the harshest criticism I've given of Deion Sanders as a football coach, with how he coaches probably practice, but certainly in-game management, things like that. He's in over his head. He just is. He's in over his head. You are looking at a guy who coached Jackson State and had tremendous success there with 2 NFL prospects, his son and Travis Hunter. When you can just simply throw more talent on the field at that level, you're going to look like a brilliant coach because you're just out-talenting them. But when you get to this level, there are some strategies that are involved.
Sure, of course there are.
Game management that's involved. Coaching, tackling, and blocking, that's kind of involved. These other teams, they're not every. Even though the Big 12 is at best the 3rd best conference, the teams in the Big 12 are not everybody's homecoming opponents.
Oh, no. You got to play well to win in this league.
Right. And Deion Sanders seems to think that his pep talks are more important than teaching, blocking, and tackling. And they're not. And he is finding that out. He is finding out the hard way. This is what it looks like when you don't have a quarterback, when you don't have a Travis Hunter. And they are floundering. Now, at the beginning of the season, even though Georgia Tech was the better team, look at the final score. It certainly looked like a close game.
Yeah.
I give them credit there.
Sure.
But when you get blown out back-to-back weeks and you are changing your play caller and you are changing your quarterbacks like a carousel, and you're hiding your players, you have no idea what the fuck you're doing.
Well,
sorry.
It ain't the players. You got to look at yourself and your coaching staff.
Yeah.
That's everything from giving players the skill set to succeed to giving them the confidence and the mental skill set to succeed. And right now that looks like it's lacking across the board.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for us. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. I will not be doing the show tomorrow. Filling in will be our good friend Troy Rank. Make it the best possible day you can.